You know, on Monday, an article went up on WNBA.com, written by Lindsay Horsting, where a bunch of different duos were named, like the most exciting duos to pay attention to this season. And for each team, there were some players very obvious: the Los Angeles Sparks, Nneka and Candace, Phoenix Mercury, Dewanna and Brittany. I mean, of course, Elena Delle Donne and Krisit Toliver for the Mystics. So imagine my surprise when I get down to the wings and it says Skylar Diggins-Smith, and Aaron Phillips. What? Strongly disagreed with it. Wanted to make an entire video covering it. Decided to talk about it on here. And then to my surprise, probably to Lindsay's surprise too, Aaron Phillips gets cut. Greetings and welcome to the Fan Perspective. I'm your host Nathan Lyle, and this is the very first edition of WNBA Weekly for the 2017 season. For those of you who are new to this channel, don't know what that is, twice a week throughout the WNBA regular season, I will upload videos, usually on Fridays and Mondays, where I talk about everything that has happened recently in the association and everything I'm looking forward to in the upcoming days. It was a very long off season, so I'm not going to go over every single thing that happened, but here are a few of the highlights. You've got some amazing Hall of Fame players like Swin, Tamika, and Penny Taylor all retiring. You've also got a bunch of players who are sitting out this season for various reasons. Tanisha, Wright, and McCoughtry are choosing to rest. You've got Dewanna sitting out because of pregnancy, and a lot of injuries like Jamierre, Faulkner, and Nneka Ogwumike. You've also got a few people who might miss some early time. Candace Parker might miss the opening weekend because of overseas commitments. Sue Bird, she had a knee scope. She might not be 100% ready to go on their first game. In addition to players who are retired or injured, there are also some significant coaching changes. You've got Stephanie White leaving the Fever. Pokey Chatman, former Chicago Sky head coach, is now the head coach of Indiana. You've got Amber Stocks going to Chicago to be the new head coach. She was previously an assistant in LA. And you've got Vickie Johnson, a former assistant, now stepping into the head coaching role after the departure of Dan Hughes of the Stars. And of course, you've got a bunch of roster moves, the most significant of which is Elena Delle Donne, the MVP, being traded to Washington, D.C. to play for the Mystics, and Krisit Toliver also going over there in free agency. Also, a few articles you should check out if you don't know about it already. First of all, there are a lot of players who have a chance to rewrite the history books this year. Diana Taurasi could pass Katie Smith for the most career three-pointers made, and she could also pass Tina Thompson for the most career points, and she could do both of those relatively early in the season as well. Sue Bird, hers is a little more lofty and it would be further down the line, but she has a chance to pass Teacher Pinachero for the most career assists. And there are other records worth looking at, but there's a link in the description to that entire article so you can check it out for yourself. I try to avoid talking too much about statistics on this channel just because while there are some people who can appreciate it, there are a lot of people who are vehemently against it. And in case you haven't heard, Twitter has signed a 3-year deal with the WNBA to live stream 20 games a season, and Fan Duel has now announced a partnership with the WNBA for one-day fantasy leagues. I'll admit that I don't use either of those sites that often, but this is a great move because it gives the WNBA more exposure, it gives us extra opportunities to draw in more fans, and it gives those that are already fans another way to connect and interact. Honestly, for me personally, as a fan, one of my favorite things about the WNBA is that because they're still trying to build their brand, they keep making changes to try to improve competitiveness, and I like it. I like a lot of the changes that they make, and so many times every year there's at least one thing that the WNBA does that I wish every other sport would follow their lead. Now we move on to the portion of the show where I tell you all the games that are going to be played over the next couple of days and a few of my opinions on them. And get used to hearing me say this because I have to say it every single time because you never know when we're gonna get some first-time viewers on a video. I will announce all of the videos that are currently scheduled to air nationally, which means everyone in America can watch them. I don't know about all of our international viewers. I don't know what your TVs are like, how they work. But I know everyone in America can definitely see them. So opening weekend begins on Saturday with the San Antonio Stars on the road against the New York Liberty. Kayla McBride expected to make her return from that devastating injury. Kelsey Plum making her career debut against one of the best defenses in the league last year. Then you've got the Storm visiting LA to challenge the Sparks, who will be raising their championship banner. I mentioned earlier, right now, I don't know for sure whether or not Sue or Candace are going to be there playing. But you've got Breanna Stewart and Nneka Ogwumike, the Rookie of the Year and MVP from last season. So even if the two biggest names on the team aren't necessarily there, you've still got star power worth looking at. Then the final game of opening night, you've got the Atlanta Dream traveling to Mohegan to take on the Connecticut Sun. That game at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and both of these teams having to go without their main star for this season. Both of them hoping to try and get their season started off on the right foot, just like everyone else. Then on Sunday, you have a full slate of action. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. The San Antonio Stars face a tough test as they have back-to-back road games to start their season. After going to New York to take on the Liberty, they get right on a plane and head to DC to face the new-look Mystics with Delle Donne and Toliver. Exactly 24 hours later. Then at 6 p.m. you have the Wings and Mercury making their season debut in the first ever game live streamed on Twitter. Then you have the Fever making their season debut against the Storm, who play their first home game of the year. And you've also got the Sky and the Lynx making their season debuts against each other. Both of those games are on at 7 Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, that's it. The season is finally here. For me, the beginning of the year is the most exciting time because right now, every team in the league is undefeated and has a chance to win the title. But every team is also winless and struggling to get some momentum going. So that's it for this edition. Tune in on Monday for another all-new episode of WNBA Weekly. Until then, this has been The Fan Perspective. I'm your host, Nathan Lyle, and I hope you have a great day.